and welcome back to my YouTube channel where I talk about philosophy, books, writing, and pretty much whatever I want. My name is Kate. Thank you so much for being here. Today's video is going to be maybe a bit of a ramble. I don't know if this is going to come together in a cohesive manner that people will want to watch or find interesting, but I felt the need to make it. Every so often I have these phrases or thoughts that just zoom into my head and I don't know where they come from, but they feel important and they feel right for the moment that I'm in. Maybe it's a message that I need to do something differently. Yeah, it's just like bits of advice to help me with whatever it is I'm going through or thinking about. I don't know where these thoughts come from. They kind of just zoom in randomly. And this thought in today's video that I'm going to talk about is one that did that last night. So, what is this thought? Looking at yourself is difficult. Do it anyway. This is something that I think all people on the planet really struggle with. Of course, there are varying degrees of how much people struggle with this. I look around today and I see so much rage bait. I see so much us versus them. I see everything externalized. And I think a lot of people forget, myself included, that we already have all the answers inside. We already have an intelligence that is far greater than any AI or anything outside of ourselves. So this idea of looking at yourself is difficult, but do it anyway, I think is incredibly important, because I kind of look at it like, let's say you have a fridge full of food. Some of it's fresh, you just bought it, and then there's some other stuff that's like on its way out. And then maybe there's some stuff that's full on rotting in the back of the fridge. At some point, you have to take out the rotting food, otherwise the rest of the fridge is going to stink. It's important to constantly clear away things that don't serve us anymore, that don't work for us. But it's one thing to not even know that there's food rotting in the fridge and to know that it's there and actively decide to just leave it there. If there's a rotting apple in your fridge and you're like, yeah, I know that that's bad, but I'm gonna keep it in the fridge for whatever reason and I'll just deal with the smell. Like, I don't know, maybe it's not a perfect analogy, but some people don't even know that they have a rotting apple in the fridge, right? Somehow, they just don't see it. And other people see it, but they decide, I'll deal with that later. I think so much of the unrest that we're dealing with, all of the negativity that seems to be manifesting through global events, through our own lives, everybody is stressed out and clinging on to anything to make ends meet. And I think a lot of that could be cleared out and made better if we had this awareness of the rotting apples inside. Like, for example, I've been dealing with a couple things recently that I've realized about myself that I didn't know. If I'm going to be personal in this video, I guess I'll just go there. I've realized about myself recently that I have a deep-seated fear of being rejected in some way, or like people don't like the things I create, things that are intensely personal to me. And it's only with certain things, right? Like, I'm not going to reveal everything about that here, but this is just like a general talk about like, okay, I have this fear of rejection. What does that fear make me do? It makes me actively push things away. If I get invited to go do something, I don't go do it. Or if I have the opportunity to create something, maybe I won't release it because I'm afraid of being judged or rejected. Or, there are a million ways that this fear, this rotting apple, manifests in my life without me even being aware of it. Like, this is not something I was aware of until recently, and including a couple other things too. And the second that I noticed it, it's like, oh, there's a rotting apple in the fridge. Then I was able to see it. It's almost like putting a light on it, and you see how it's festering and how it starts to seep into the other areas of your life. And so it quite literally deals with you instead of you dealing with it. And I'm not gonna sit here and pretend that dealing with the things we don't wanna look at isn't scary. It is the most terrifying thing on the planet because, human beings are incredibly adaptable, right? Like, our brains are basically our saviors. It's like if we go through something traumatic, then our brain can come in and save us by erecting walls around ourselves like well, I'm never going to experience that again, so I'm going to make sure that I'm ironclad and I will never let anybody get close to me again because I'm afraid of being hurt again like that. Our brains do everything it can to keep us safe. You know, like we're hardwired to experience this need for survival, right? And so the brain adapts to that. So I'm absolutely not going to pretend like looking at these things that have served us in the past, that have made us feel safe, it hasn't served a purpose at some point. But the problem is that it ends up being a rotting apple that sits in the fridge, and it like goes around and it affects everything else in the fridge, and it's like maybe you don't even see it back there, or maybe you do but you're ignoring it. Like, it's important to look at these things because it's like the second you look at it and acknowledge it, then you can see how all of the problems have come from that, or like you can see how this affliction, this darkness has afflicted you in ways that have kept you small or kept you just small and not living as much as you could. And this is where I think it's important to know about correction. I think that we come here to experience these things in order for our souls to correct them, in order to become better and to let in more light and to let in more life in general if we can get over these things. So this is not like some order, some insensitive thing of like, yeah, okay, fine, you have your problems, who cares? Look at it anyway. It's more of a message that I think if it's received by people, then it's meant for you to receive it. It's meant for you to hear it and to know that maybe there is something that you're not looking at. I'm sure there are many more things that I'm not looking at, that now that I am actively searching for them, those things, they will come up and then I can attempt to deal with them. We all want to live happier lives. We all want to have all of the love and experiences and abundance that we envision. And I firmly believe that everything that we envision is meant for us. Whether that's in this lifetime, in this second, next week, in a couple of months or years, or the next lifetime even, we're all meant to experience the things that we dream of. But the way to get there is to clear out all the crap. Empty the fridge. Keep the things that are still good and, not expired, and throw out the old crap, because all it's doing is tainting everything around it. And as I am active on social media, and as I watch people attacking other people, rage baiting, or talking about what is wrong with the world, like, yes, it's important to be informed and to talk about those things, but I don't think a lot of people realize that they're trying to control things by externalizing everything, by saying, no, that's wrong, you shouldn't be doing that, the only way to do it is this way, instead of looking inward and deciding, no, that's how I want to live my life, this is what makes me feel like this is my life, this is my light, this is, and this is a very complicated discussion, and there's a lot that goes into, how you move forward and how you deal with these things that we just refuse to look at. So I'm not going to get into that today, but the most important first step is to see it and acknowledge it, and to tell yourself, and this is going for me too, I tell myself, when I'm feeling scared, when I'm feeling overwhelmed, when I'm feeling like I'm not worthy of the things that I want, to cultivate certainty instead, saying that I have certainty that I am here to live my best life. I am certain that I can experience the energy of my purpose or the life I want to live, or if I'm actively trying to reduce a fear that I have, I can say, please take this away from me. With every experience I do, take this away from me. Give me the vibration, the energy of its opposite, or something that I would like to experience instead. Because every time I have looked at something that scares me, or I don't want to look at, or I come from a giving place of grace, of being curious, other areas of my life expand. My life gets better. The people around me are kinder. The experiences that I encounter are greater. And there's always going to be lessons. There's always going to be more to discover about ourselves. This is an ongoing process. But I guess the way that I'm going to wrap up this video is just to say the thought that I had again. Looking at yourself is difficult. Do it anyway. But that's just my wish for people in general, is that we can understand and know that we are more powerful than we think we are, and that we can do things that we don't think we're capable of. There is an intelligence that goes beyond your fears, that goes beyond your grief, your rage. There is an intelligence that when you take out the rotten apples, I keep saying that, but that's what keeps coming up, it will rush in with something greater. It will replace it with something lighter that makes you more fulfilled. It's like you can breathe again. Let me know down below in the comments if you've experienced what I'm talking about, or if there is something that you are personally working on, or something that you've realized recently. Like, obviously this is a safe space. You do not have to share if you don't want to. Yeah, I hope that this video was helpful. Don't forget to check out the link in the description to pre-order the Kindle version of my debut romance novel. I'm very excited about it. The physical copy of the book will be released on October 11th at 5 p.m. PST. I'm very excited about it. I'm very scared about it. That's kind of like part of what has woven into why I'm making this video, like realizing, oh, I'm very afraid of this. Why am I afraid of this? Because you're afraid of being seen truly and being vulnerable. So I'm like, oh, okay, fuck. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe and hit that bell so you know when I will be posting next. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.